Hello, and welcome back to Conversations with Karen and Kat, the podcast where we connect with powerful change makers, visionaries, and everyday heroes who are shaping culture and community. Today, we are joined by Dr. Erlange Elisme, sorry. She is a behavioral health consultant, trauma-informed leadership strategist, author, and founder and CEO of Elisme Consulting Services. For more than 30 years, Dr. Elisme has worked at the intersection of behavioral health, education, and leadership, helping organizations build healthier workplaces and stronger communities. Her work reminds us that behind every behavior is a story. Behind every resilient leader is a human being, and behind lasting healing is the power of community. Drawing from her extensive clinical experience, advanced trauma informed leadership training, and the rich cultural traditions of her Haitian heritage, so if I say, Dr. Elise challenges us to rethink how we respond to stress, leadership, wellness, and one another. Dr. Elisme, welcome to Conversations with Karen and Kat. We are honored to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Karen, for that beautiful introduction. I was asking, okay, is she talking about me?
So, Dr. Elisa, before we get into the nitty gritty, we would be remiss if you watched any of our episodes. You know that Kat and I, particularly Kat, are big proponents of mental health and mental health awareness. And July is National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, which is dedicated to destigmatizing mental illness and addressing the unique mental health struggles and systematic barriers faced by racial and ethnic minorities. And so, with that in mind, Dr. Elisman, what can you speak briefly on some of the struggles that the Black community, the diaspora, I'll just say the diaspora, um, that the diaspora faces with getting diagnosed and also recognizing mental health in our community?
Oh wow, what a loaded question. um, if first of all, to diagnose, we have to go, right? And we have to go, but we have to find people who are trained, people who understand our struggles, so we feel safe to go
Mm,
to them. Because one thing about trauma informed care basically
mhm.
is safety. People need
Yes.
to feel safe, not just physically, but psychologically.
Mhm.
A lot of the Western medicine, including mental health, was not created for us in mind.
Mm,
So, because of that, many of us hesitate to go to see someone and just to speak to someone. Now it's increasing, it's getting better, because many of us now are in the field, but still it's really hard. So when we're talking about mental health in the diaspora,
mm.
we have to talk about generational trauma. What
Oh,
has
yes.
happened to us? What has
Mhm.
happened to our families? What has happened to me as a parent raising my son? So all that comes into play when we're talking about mental health. And we also have to talk about not only that, mental health costs a lot.
Yes.
and
Yeah.
and there are so many barriers. There is the lack of training, there is a lack um of access, and many, on many levels. So especially now we're talking about insurance issues. When we're looking at policies and everything that is going on, we know that it's going to get a little bit more challenging for people of color. Now we're talking in general for people of color. Let's talk about people who may speak other languages.
Mhm.
that's another level of, issues that may happen.
Another barrier,
Mm.
another barrier. We had Dr. Kevin Washington, who's a friend of the show. We've had him on a few times. He's written a book called Ubuntu Psychotherapy, where he talks about um, y- using Ubuntu practices, which are African practices in dealing with and healing generational trauma. Are there any modalities that you bring from your Haitian culture and heritage that you use in your practice?
Yes, I have created, because I've been in the field for so long and I've seen and I've tried so many different things. I have some frameworks that I created,
Mm,
um, thinking about how we can make it, not abstract, but something that people can take. Right now, if we use it, we can get some relief. I have 5 frameworks that I work with, but one of them is the anchor. And what I did with the anchor, we have a faith base,
mhm.
um, anchor, and we have a regular one because we don't want just to say, okay, well, people who have or who are of faith can come to
Yes.
us. So yes, I have created some. Also, I have the Elisme resilience model that
Mm.
I also created to help people. So I would have to sit and talk about each one of those letters, what they stand
Tell us
for.
more
The
about the
people have to come to
Elisme.
one of my workshops to hear
Can,
more about them.
can you give us a little bit about what the focus is of the Elisme model?
It's resilience based,
Hmm.
where we talk about leadership, we talk about education, we talk about how we can use some of those things that we have. Now, because I'm from Haiti,
Hmm.
I use what they call combit. Combit is a thinking that when something is happening, we come as a community to resolve it because we need community. Where here, everything we do it individually.
Yes.
In our culture, where we came from, we looked at the community, not just
Hmm.
not just one person. So we really talk about that. We talk about being aware because if you are in denial, you cannot address your issues also.
So that brings me to my question, doctor. How do people know when their body is telling them that they're not okay?
Mm.
Um, One thing that trauma does to the body. Let me say something about that, so I can explain why I always try to explain. My doctoral program was the entire program was a specialization in trauma informed care leadership and practice.
Mm.
But also after that, I went and obtained a certification from Harvard Medical School on global mental health trauma and recovery. So what
Wow.
I try to do is to explain the neurobiology of trauma, what it
Mhm.
does, the brain, what it does to the brain, how it changes us. The one thing that trauma does to you is to it disconnects you from you.
Yes.
When they talk about dissociation, that is the first thing that I believe happens, where you may not feel things because the brain is trying to protect you.
Yes.
Because if you were to feel everything that happened to you probably would not survive it.
They would crack.
You would cry. So basically, that's what that's how we were created, so we can
Mhm.
protect ourselves, so we can support ourselves. So when trauma make us not understand certain things that is going on because we're not aware, and that's what I talk about, um, awareness. Like when I talk about my anchor model, the first letter is to be aware, to be
Mm.
present.
So break down that anchor acronym. Can you just shout it out right fast what anchor means?
Oh man, it's
Oh, I'm challenging.
awareness. Because I have two models. It's awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the N is nurturing. C is oh my God, you're going to you test
I put you on blast
right
list. I'm
now.
sorry.
Yeah. So I have it right in front of me because I have the I bought that. The C is connection. Okay. Connection. The O is opening to community healing. That's part of the combit that I talked about earlier. And then the R is resting. So
Yes.
awareness, nurture. C is connection. The H is hope, and then the R is resting. I think I'm
Yeah, no, that's good. No,
No,
that's
no,
fine. Just
that's
want
good.
people to know that I was reading on that, and you can just see the different modalities, the way with which
Hmm.
you approach, mental health. I'm a mental health survivor, and Karen and I, we really wanted to help break the shame and stigma. And what is your advice to those of us who everybody says you're such a strong friend or you're a strong mom? I never see you, break down, you holding it all together. Um, what do you say to that person that's walking around so strong, um, but they're really tired of being strong?
well. Let me give an example. When you're flying airplane,
Mhm.
there is something in it that helps you, that helps the airplane take, fly, right?
Hmm.
They call it afterburn. When you need the afterburn so the airplane can fly. But if you keep the afterburn going all the time, guess what happens?
It burns
Things
out.
to turn off
Mm,
by
okay.
themselves
Yeah.
because it was not created. They did not create the jet or the airplane to fly
Mhm.
on afterburn. So sometimes, especially Black women, we always going on afterburn
Hmm.
because
And we're in
we
a constant state of heightened.
Flight or fear, or where
Yes,
all
yes,
day.
always and some of us take it as a big compliment when
yeah.
somebody says,
Badge of
oh,
honor,
energy is
badge
so
of honor.
strong. Yes, but guess what, when you are so strong all the time, your creativity may be dying slowly,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Your empathy
Mhm.
will turn off because you cannot continue to do that. And we abandon ourselves too because we are always going at a pace that we're not supposed.
Yes. I have said to my sister and to friends before, I'm taking my ass off my chest and I'm putting it in my closet for a little
Take your
while.
cape off. I know that's
Taking my
right.
cape off because I'm tired.
Yes.
I'm tired. And it for some of us, we have never been given the space. When I say some, I mean I'm speaking of Black women.
Mhm.
We have never been given the space or even the luxury to be able to just sit down and collect our thoughts, feel what we're feeling, grieve, or
Mhm.
grieve the end of a relationship, grieve the loss of a person, because you got to get up, you got to keep on going, you got to keep on doing, you got to get up, get those kids together, you got to get up and get your
Survival
husband together.
mode.
And
Survival mode.
we're always in that. and
Mhm.
and I have learned as I've gotten older that sometimes I just need to sit down and be,
Mhm.
and just do nothing, and be responsible for nothing but
Mhm.
just feeling whatever it is that I'm feeling.
Mhm. And we need to be honest with ourselves
Mhm.
because a lot of times and it could be because of the lack of awareness that I talk
Mhm.
about, but because we want to show to people that we are stronger
Yes.
than we were made to be.
Yeah.
You know, the reason
Strong
we are
black woman.
strong is because the brain says, if you don't do that, you're not going to do this. You know, because we learned it generation ago. If we, as when we were enslaved, if you don't work from morning to whatever time, you might die, and you're always ready to do something. So
Yep.
guess what?
Mhm.
Our parents just pass it on to us
Mhm.
unknowingly. It's not because they were the bad parents, it's just that they don't know and they
That they
pass it
don't know.
to
And
us.
I think about my house wasn't this way, but I knew some of my friends growing up, like their parents didn't want them just sitting down doing anything. Like they couldn't just be
Busy.
still.
You had to be
Yeah,
busy.
they had to be busy.
And if
Yeah,
you're not busy, you're not productive.
you're not
Yes.
productive.
So, and girl, you just hit the nail. I have so many questions, and God is so good because I literally, as y'all talking, I'm like, man, I want to know about that. I want to know about that. Because we walk around with trauma, generational trauma, and I just was talking about this. Mm. And you have to learn how to forgive people who hurt you because they was carrying generational trauma.
Mhm.
Man.
Mhm.
So how do you honor your family's strength while talking about the pain that you've been going through for generations?
You know, the if I went back to the anchor model that I talk about, and the itch is really to honor things that are positive,
Hmm.
and then things that may not be that good, right? You can be hopeful because I can look at my family and say, yeah, we messed up. But in that too, we can find hope, right? Because what you just talked about, um, Kat, I I experienced it with my mom.
Hmm.
My mom left Haiti when I was about 5 years old, and left me with relatives. And it was not always a great situation,
Mm-hmm.
right? And as a kid, the way I read it, I said she just abandoned us, right? But when I grew up and I looked and I learned and I talked to her, I knew that she was suffering too.
Yeah.
She had to do what she had to do.
To try to
Right.
make it better,
Mm,
to try to for what she thought was making it better for the
making it
children.
better.
With the
And
tools, with the resources, with the support she
Hmm.
had, she did the best decision at that time.
mhm.
That's
And
when we really mature, when we realize that our parents are humans having a human experience in the same way that we are, and they're only doing this life one time, and
Right.
they didn't come with instructions, so they've done the best
mhm,
that they can. Most, not
mhm.
all, have done
Especially
the best
when
that
it's
they can.
untreated trauma,
Yes, yes.
compounded untreated trauma. So they're only doing the cycle. So yeah, I'll give the floor to you, doctor.
Uh-huh. Honestly, most of us or most of them have untreated trauma.
Right.
Because if you're not aware of something, how do you treat it?
You
Right?
can't change what you don't hide. You can't heal what
Yes,
you can't
yes.
change what you don't acknowledge, and you can't heal what you hide.
What?
Understanding the story behind the behavior. Isn't that what you talk about, Dr.
Yes,
Elisme?
yes.
Um,
Right.
so, one of the, I am a child advocate attorney, so I work with children that are placed in foster care. And one theory that I haven't seen any, well, I have seen some research on it. That's not true, but I had this theory before I saw the research. is that trauma changes who this child was going to be. And because the and so an adverse childhood experience, which is called an ACE, and so
Mhm.
they do this scoring system now for how many adverse childhood experiences a child has had to come up with like their post traumatic if they've experienced
Mhm.
PTSD.
Mhm.
But I've often thought over the years, and now research has backed it up, that the trauma that children have gone through can change the trajectory of who their personalities were going to be, who they were going to be. Because a child who may have been very open and loving and talkative, if they've been abused, they may then become withdrawn and afraid to deal with other people, to experience new people, that they may become afraid. Where the same way that if a young person is sexually abused, it could cause them to start acting out sexually at a younger age and thinking that all that they have to offer is their body. So you
Mhm.
talk about there's a story behind the behavior, because sometimes what we see as defiance, what we see as a child being disrespectful, is a trauma response. Can you
Oh,
talk
yes.
about that?
Yes. And the question that when I train people, I said, we ask what happened to
Mm.
you. And I think Oprah in her book
She said
got
when
that.
she encounters someone who is treating her in a way that doesn't match like the energy she's giving to them, she thinks, what happened to him?
Mhm.
What happened to
Mhm.
her?
What
What
happened?
happened to you?
What happened to you? So now, even when we say that, it's not to excuse bad
Mhm.
behavior, right? But once you understand it, just like Kat said earlier, you're able to say, okay, yeah, it makes sense in context.
Yeah,
Now, I think we have touched on so many things that I don't want to leave and not say that there is hope.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
we know people who have accomplished so many great things,
Mhm.
even though they experience a lot of trauma. And for these children, one adult that is a positive relationship can make a life of
Yeah.
a lifetime of a change for them. So there is hope, and this is why I'm in this. This is why you ladies are
Yeah.
having this podcast, to open people's eyes, and also to just say that there is hope. We can grow, we can change, we can survive.
But there's usually some intervening person or therapy. There's usually something intervening for that shift to happen. That's what I have seen. So
Ye-
either it's when you've gone through some traumatic experience, either you're coming in contact with someone who helps you see things differently, or you're going through therapy that you have um, learned how to react to how to respond when a traumatic thing comes up, instead of acting out, instead of lashing out at folks. You've learned the tools, you've been given those things. So you're there is help,
Yeah.
but I think that there has to be an intervening something or someone that makes that difference.
mhm. And my argument for that is
Mhm.
that it's true, but sometimes the person that helps, maybe just a regular
Right.
person
Yeah.
that is committed to you
Yeah,
as
yeah,
a human being.
absolutely,
To add
absolutely.
to that,
Hmm.
my girlfriend was one of the ones that said, "Yeah, girl, you need to cut that out. I think you need to get some help." So you're absolutely right. It wasn't a trained professional. It wasn't
Hmm.
someone that had all these letters behind their name. It was just someone who close enough to you that can say, "Wait a minute, something's not right."
Something's not
Right.
right.
Um,
Hmm.
So I will say,
It could be a trusted adult in a young
yep,
person's life
yep,
that show that
a
it's
mentor.
someone who's not going to hurt them. It's someone that is safe, that they can talk to, that they, can confide in, and that, so it doesn't have to be a trained professional,
Mhm.
but usually what I've seen is that there is something or someone
Some
that
type of
has made a
connection.
difference, that has made a connection with that
Mhm.
person. Um,
Now,
Dr. What's up? Go ahead.
now having a trained professional is helpful a lot, right?
Absolutely.
But I'm saying when there isn't one, healthy relationships, not just any
Yeah,
relationship,
yeah, yeah. Healthy.
healthy, safe relationship
Mm-hmm.
do make a difference. You were saying yes.
I will say having a professional, because even I'm a huge, big mental health advocate, as you can see, as my girlfriend called me a warthead. I do cry, and I'm proud. Yay, it's healing for me. That having a culturally competent, licensed professional along your journey for me made a huge difference, because
Yeah.
having a conversation with someone who can't relate to you may know all the things about my trauma or that textbook, but when you get to my day-to-day stresses, like what Karen talked about earlier, just coming up in a Black community where we're taught, because of all of our post-traumatic slavery
Mhm.
syndromes and all those things that just inherently come down from generation to generation. If you don't understand what my day is like just to get up and go to work, to feed my family with redlining and discrimination and sexism, ageism, and all these other things, you have to address that too, because that's traumatizing every day in and of itself. So
Mhm.
one of my questions to you, doctor, is the myth about resilience. What
Mm.
is something that you wish people would stop repeating when it comes to resilience?
Mhm. One thing is that we need to be resilient because we go through so much, right?
Mm.
Other people don't have to use that word all the time, but we use it all the time because we're so comfortable in the pain that we've had. We've been dealt. A lot of it was dealt to us. Yes, resilience is a good thing, but we need to think about creating environments where people do not have to always be resilient, because in order for you to become resilient you have to have gone through things, right?
Yes.
So what are we doing in our policies? What are we doing um in my life as a mom, so my son doesn't have to be that?
Resilient.
Well, yes, we it's a good word, but
Mhm. Mhm.
we need to put it in quotation mark, in my opinion.
Because when we're resilient, we really are just high functioning in our
High,
dysfunction.
high functioning in our dysfunction. Yes,
Facts.
That's
yes.
that really is what it is.
Mhm.
Uh,
You work well under stress.
yeah, and that's crazy, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Dr. Lisa, what drew you to this work? What is your why? We always ask people that. What is your why for this
My
work?
why, I told someone it's because um, I had lived experience
Mm.
of my own trauma.
Hmm.
And many of us who come to this field, we come to undo certain things. And sometimes we don't even see ourselves. We see other people that we're trying to fix. But
Mhm.
when we are aware, we start to realize, oh, okay. So that is my why.
Mhm.
Um, as an immigrant, when I came, I left my home, I left my school, I left my community. Many people believe that when people come from Haiti, they just come to a lot of wealth here. Well,
Mhm.
when I came, it was it was not the same, because I left a big home in Haiti and I came here to an apartment in what they call the hood. And I
Yeah.
did not understand that when I came. Now, a lot of people just say Haiti has a lot of poverty. Yes, there is a lot of poverty, but there was a lot of political issues. So many of us left all those relationships
Mm-hmm.
because we had. So that is one safe thing that I can say
Yeah.
right now. But that is my why. And the other thing is that I think that God has given me the abilities to really um, e- explain to people what what is happening in them. So I said, why not? Why not? Why not me?
So, doctor, what does how does trauma manifest in our bodies? And can you tell us more about your workshop that you have coming up, the Body Whispers, Catch Burnout Before Resignation?
Okay, there was a time when I worked and doing a whole lot, being a mom, being I'm a single mom because I divorced and and working in the field where you are receiving everything else that people experience, right?
Mm,
That's another level
mhm,
that we don't often talk about. And then I come, there was nothing left for me.
mm,
So I would go to work, get up because I had to go to work, but I sit in my car,
mm,
not want to go inside of that building.
mhm,
So that is one thing that people may not even understand what is happening, right? So that's part of the reason that I start talking about what happens to the body. Because if we really think about anxiety, anxiety is not necessarily a mental issue, it is a
mm,
physical issue because when even when the way we explain it, right? We explain that you have butterfly in your tummy, and if you really stay still, you can feel your shoulders going up, right? So trauma stays in our bodies, and and that's part of the thing that we need to learn how to deal with. And that's how when I started I said that we need to be aware so we can first learn how we dissociate and how we can go back
mhm,
and treat ourselves.
mm.
And
Nicole.
speak about your upcoming event.
Oh yes, I will offer um, um, a webinar on the 16th of July. It will talk about the body whispers, some of the whispers that we just talked about. Like you're sitting, you don't even know what's going on, but you don't want to go in the building.
Mm,
Or somebody talks to you, you just, oh my goodness, you already have 10 things that you think that the person meant, and you know the person did not mean any of
hmm,
that.
Mm-hmm.
Those are part of the whisper that happens. And I talk a lot about burnout because I think that a lot of people who experience a lot of trauma, they tend to burn out fast
yeah.
because of everything else that goes on. So I will talk about that for 45 minutes, and it's free. You just have to go on that Eventbrite
Eventbrite.
and register.
Yeah.
It's free.
And so for those of you who might be listening and not able to see the screen, if you go to Eventbrite and put in the Body Whispers, it's on July 16th and it's virtual. You can sign up on Eventbrite for the event. And again, as Dr. Elisme said, it is free. Free is a free 99 is a good price.
I know, right?
So look for the Body Whispers, Catch Burnout Before Resignation. And that is so important because as we were talking about, we are highly functioning in our dysfunction. And so many of us, like we're doing things like at when we get home, we're sitting in the car because we need to decompress before walking into the house. Or when we get to the job, we're sitting in the car like, oh my God, I don't want to go in.
Yeah.
Gotta get on the phone with somebody. Ooh, talk me over this.
Girl, look, I had to call my therapist one day in the parking lot. I was like, girl, she was like, so yes, you better have somebody to
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't deal with these people one more day. There's a lot of that. And so if that is you, the body whispers, catch burnout before resignation with Dr. Elisme, like that is so important because we really are high functioning, dysfunctional people.
Yep.
A lot of us,
A
a
whole
lot of
bunch
us
of us.
have carried trauma that is not healed. And we brought it into our relationships. We brought it into raising our children.
Mhm.
And that could look like yelling all the time. That could look like being angry and at a heightened speed.
Self-medicate, all kinds of stuff.
That
Self-
can look like that can look like this too.
Yes.
On
Because Doc, what is this when you're on the phone all the time? That's avoidance behavior,
That's
right?
avoidance, dissociation. We want to dissociate. We don't want to think about it. We don't want to deal with that. So yeah.
And I'm guilty of it. After a day when I have been dealing with some of the most traumatic issues that my young clients are facing, I want to not, I literally don't want to think. Like I want to watch something idiotic on television that makes me escape. I want to be on my phone and watch stupid TikToks because I don't want to think about whatever that heavy thing is. So I get that too, and that's disassociating because I don't want to think about that thing. I don't want to
unplug
be
from
heavy.
it as best as you can, and then just kind of pick it up when you have to go back out to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
And honestly, there is nothing wrong with that. It's when you are doing it and not doing what you need to do, then you need to pay attention more
Yeah.
about it. Like if you have a kid that needs you
Hmm.
and you distance yourself, then you are creating, because the children wants us to be emotionally available.
Yes.
And a lot of times we are not because of our own stuff, unhealed stuff.
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
So, doctor,
Yeah.
we always ask the question at the end of our show because, as you know, we want to help promote mental wellness. We want it to be a part of the normal conversation. We always talk about success. We talk about weddings. We talk about parties, our community. But when you start talking about mental wellness, it's like it's a
Cricket.
conversation that somebody has to whisper, or people feel like they have to carry that alone. So for someone who needs permission, who's watching this show, and they're saying, I am not okay, um, what practice do you do to help reset, help keep you grounded, and help protect your mental wellness?
For me, when I don't have time, even when I'm in the shower, I just put my hand right here
Mm.
and I close my eyes and I breathe. I breathe in and I exhale. It doesn't take a whole lot of time, and it just helps you reconnect with yourself.
Mm.
I'm going to just say something because you asked about that. I wrote this book, Reclaim Your Sanctuary. It
Reclaim your
really,
sanctuary.
yes, it has some very short practices that are less than 1 minute that people can do to reconnect themselves. It's on Amazon.
Okay.
But it's on your website too, right? I see it on your website. Can we direct people to your
Yes,
website?
yes, it's on my website, Elisme Consulting Services.com.
Elisme Consulting
Yes.
Services.
We want you to get as much of that
I know that's right.
as we can. So we're gonna send people to your website.
Okay, thank you.
That's
So
You got
.com.
books
the
out here
one
too.
on the website is a ebook, right? But if you want a hard copy, I only have it on Amazon.
So Elisme Consulting Services.com to get your copy of Reclaim Your Sanctuary by Dr. Erlange Elisme.
Yes.
Um, so that this was a very important conversation.
Absolutely.
And if our listeners are interested in learning more about your work, Dr. Elisme, how could they contact you?
My email address is Elisme, just like my last name,
Mhm.
Elisme at Elisme Consulting Services.com.
Okay.
My phone number is 678-595-6446. I am on LinkedIn. I am on Facebook, Elisme Consulting Services. I'm on YouTube, Dr. Elisme, and also I'm on Instagram.
Okay. And Elisme is spelled Elism as in Mary, E as in Edward. And that's
Yeah.
Elisme at ElismeConsultingServices.com. And again, Dr. Elisme's phone number is 678-595-6446. And the website is Elisme Consulting Services. And you can also find her on YouTube and IG. Just look up her name, Dr. Elisme. Thank you so much. This was a great conversation. It really, and an important conversation during National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. Look, I wonder, but it's actually now it's called the BIPOC Mental Health Awareness Month.
Mhm.
Right. Oh,
Um, but our focus, not that we don't care about other people, but we want to really bring awareness in the Black community, in the throughout the diaspora, because mental health has been such a stigma wherever we live, whether we're on the continent or whether we're in the Caribbean or whether we're in the Americas. It is a stigma because traditionally we have not gone to see psychologists and psychiatrists,
We haven't
and
had access.
we haven't
mhm.
had access.
We haven't had access.
We haven't
Uh,
had access.
can I say also, I
Yeah.
do not do therapy right
Okay.
now. I train organizations.
Hmm.
Um, I train schools for it, because teachers are under a whole lot.
Yeah.
Nurses are under a lot of stress. Um, People like a CASA,
Hmm.
because I do training for CASA
Hmm.
in Fulton County. The people who are working with the kids, they are experiencing vicarious
Yeah.
trauma.
Yeah. The
On
volunteers.
Yes, on a small, very, I have a handful of clients that I see as a trauma informed life coach.
Okay.
However, if somebody needs a therapist that is trauma informed, I have a network of people that I can refer them to.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
That's
Because that
so
is
important.
so important. It
Mhm.
really, really is. It really
Can I say
is.
one last thing
Yeah.
that doctor has been recognized, and correct me if I'm wrong, you did receive Gwinnett County's Mentorship of the Year award.
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
I did. I worked in education most of my professional life.
Hmm.
After I left 2 years ago, I decided to stay because one of the students that I worked with, I met her in third grade. And I wanted to just work with her
Stay with
until
her.
she graduated. She graduated this year, and I, and I have another one
Nice.
graduating next year.
Nice.
So yes, I this is what I do. I always wish when I was in school, I had someone that would just sit and listen to me, and I
Yeah.
continue to do that.
That's a
Amen.
beautiful thing. Well,
I'm so
congratulations on
glad.
that honor. Because
Thank
this
Absolutely.
is working with young people. is not something that everybody can do, and it's not something that everyone should do.
Facts.
It takes a special heart to work with young people and for them to feel and to take the time to make sure that they feel seen and heard.
Yes.
That's important work, and thank you for doing that.
Yes, thank
Anything
you.
else, Catherine?
No, that's it, girl. I am so excited. I look forward to seeing her out in these streets doing the work.
Yes. And to our listeners, as always, we want you to subscribe to Conversations with Karen and Kat on YouTube, Facebook, IG, and wherever you find your podcast. Remember that you are a part of the conversations. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat.
Where we are impacting the world one conversation at a time.